The Middle East is once again standing on the edge, but this time the tension feels heavier, sharper, and far more dangerous than anything we've seen in recent years. What's unfolding is not just another regional clash. It's a chain reaction that has the potential to shake global energy markets, military balances, and economic stability all at once. Reports and claims are circulating about Iranian-linked strikes targeting critical infrastructure connected to Israel, along with rising fears around energy facilities tied to Oman. And this is where the numbers begin to matter in a very serious way, because nearly 20% of the world's total oil supply moves through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. This narrow corridor is one of the most important energy lifelines on Earth, and any disruption here is not local, it's global. Now, when we talk about potential damage, some scenario-based estimates are pushing figures as high as $26 billion in losses if major refinery systems and energy infrastructure are significantly hit. That's not just a number, that's an economic shockwave. If something at this scale actually happens, the consequences won't stay in the Middle East. Analysts are already warning that Europe could face a massive energy crisis, with gas prices potentially rising by up to 60% in extreme scenarios. And when you consider that roughly 15% to 20% of global LNG and gas flows are directly or indirectly linked to this region, it becomes clear that even a partial disruption could send prices soaring worldwide. This means higher fuel costs, increased inflation, and economic pressure on millions of people across multiple continents. But beyond the economic layer, there is a deeper military reality that most people don't fully understand. Iran is often portrayed as a weakened or heavily sanctioned country, but that perception doesn't tell the full story. Despite facing pressure from what can be described as 8 to 10 different opposing forces, alliances, and geopolitical fronts, Iran has not only survived, it has adapted. For more than 30 years, under strict U.S. sanctions and global restrictions, Iran has been quietly preparing for exactly this kind of scenario. Instead of competing directly with technologically superior militaries, it focused on asymmetric warfare, building capabilities that are not designed to overpower, but to outlast, exhaust, and destabilize stronger enemies over time. One of the most critical parts of this strategy is Iran's massive underground missile network. These are not just a few hidden bunkers. They are entire underground missile cities, built deep inside mountains, sometimes hundreds of meters, even approaching a kilometer underground in certain estimates. These facilities are spread across multiple regions, including mountainous zones near places like Kermanshah, Lorston, and other strategic locations. Over the years, Iran has revealed glimpses of these sites through controlled footage, showing long tunnels packed with missiles, launch platforms, and transport systems. But what's publicly shown is likely only a fraction of what actually exists. The scale here is massive. Iran is believed to have produced thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles over decades, with ranges varying from short-range tactical systems to long-range missiles capable of reaching targets across the region. Some estimates suggest stockpiles in the several thousands, though exact numbers remain unknown due to extreme secrecy. And this is where the intelligence factor comes in. Iranian military intelligence has spent years perfecting concealment, mobility, and deception tactics. These missile systems are not just stored. They are hidden, relocated, and protected using advanced underground logistics networks that make detection extremely difficult even for modern surveillance satellites. Now let's talk about bunker buster bombs, because this is one of the biggest misconceptions. The United States possesses some of the most powerful bunker buster weapons in the world, such as the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, designed to penetrate up to 60 meters of reinforced concrete or rock under ideal conditions. But here's the reality. Many of Iran's deepest facilities are believed to be built beyond these penetration limits, or designed in layered structures that absorb and disperse impact force. In simple terms, even if a bomb reaches the surface of these facilities, destroying the entire underground network is extremely difficult. At best, entrances, ventilation systems, and access points can be damaged, but fully eliminating the core infrastructure is another challenge entirely. And this brings us to the most powerful strategic imbalance in this entire conflict: the cost factor. A single Iranian missile can cost as little as $20,000 to $50,000, depending on the type. But intercepting that missile using advanced defense systems like Israel's Arrow or David's Sling can cost anywhere between $3 million to $4 million per interceptor. That's not just a gap, it's a massive economic imbalance. If Iran launches 100 missiles, it might cost them a few $1,000,000 total. But intercepting those same missiles could cost the defending side hundreds of millions, even approaching $500 million in a single wave. Now stretch that over days or weeks. Defense operations running continuously could cost billions of dollars per day. This is where the war stops being just military and becomes deeply economic. Iran's strategy is not about winning in one strike. It's about forcing its opponents into a long-term financial drain. It's about making defense more expensive than offense and turning time into a weapon. At the same time, Iran's intelligence network plays a critical role in this equation. Over the years, it has developed strong regional awareness, proxy coordination, and surveillance capabilities. This allows it to monitor enemy movements, identify targets, and adjust strategies in real time. Combined with underground missile systems, this creates a highly flexible and resilient military structure that is very difficult to fully neutralize. Now zoom out to the global picture. If this situation escalates further, the consequences will not remain confined to the Middle East. Oil prices could easily cross extreme thresholds, shipping routes could face disruptions, and insurance costs for global trade could skyrocket. Europe, already dealing with energy vulnerabilities, could face serious shortages. Inflation could rise worldwide, affecting everything from fuel prices to food supply chains. This is how a regional conflict turns into a global crisis. There is also a psychological war being fought here. The uncertainty surrounding Iran's underground capabilities, the unknown number of missiles, and the inability to fully eliminate these threats create constant pressure on opposing forces. They are forced to stay on high alert 24/7, invest heavily in defense systems, and prepare for worst-case scenarios at all times. This kind of pressure changes decision-making, slows down operations, and increases the overall cost of war. At the same time, the information space is flooded with claims, counterclaims, and unverified reports. From leadership rumors to damage assessments, not everything being circulated is confirmed. In modern conflicts, information itself becomes a weapon. Narratives are shaped, perceptions are controlled, and psychological influence becomes just as important as physical attacks. This makes it extremely important to separate confirmed facts from speculation. Looking ahead, the future of this conflict can move in several directions. One possibility is controlled escalation, where both sides continue limited strikes but avoid full-scale war. Another scenario is a major economic shock, where energy infrastructure is significantly damaged, leading to global price surges and economic instability. And then there is the most dangerous outcome: a full regional war involving multiple countries, disrupting global trade routes, and triggering immediate worldwide consequences. But here's the final and most important point. Even if a full-scale war does not happen, the impact is already unfolding. Military doctrines are changing. Energy strategies are being rewritten. Alliances are shifting. The world is watching in real time as a new kind of warfare takes shape, one that is not just about power, but about endurance, cost, and strategic pressure. And when you look at the numbers, $20,000 missiles versus $3-4 million interceptors, billions spent daily, potential 60% energy price spikes, $26 billion in possible damage, and thousands of hidden missiles underground, one thing becomes absolutely